And there is words from Frank Warren as he states that Jarrell Miller is cleared to fight. He's done his time. He's had his band, and he's required everything that he's done from the band. Leave him alone, allow him to fight, and let me counterpunch. You know, I think what people need to understand about Jarrell Miller became the poster child of drug peds is because of the popularity of who he was fighting. You have to keep that in mind. You have to understand, who was he, or who did he get caught fighting? Or who did he test positive fighting? Or about to fight, or attempting to fight? Anthony Joshua. That's right. And I think because Anthony Joshua was so big at the time, and he was so loved at the time. This is 2019. This is an undefeated, unified heavyweight champion, gold Olympian, okay, from England, going up against a guy that was already showing that he was rude, he was brash, he didn't give a damn, he was very vulgar, right? He was that guy. He didn't care, and he let everyone know that he was a very bad man, and he didn't care how he was going to win. He said he was going to win. He made AJ, sucked AJ into that dark part, and with that energy as well, right? Then he gets popped. And I think because it was AJ, I think people looked at him a lot harsher than they did other people. You want me to prove how I know this? Easy. Because when Jarrell Miller got popped for PEDS in 2019, he got popped again the next year, but it wasn't as bad the next year. You see what I mean? Because everybody was like, okay, well, who was he fighting? Jerry Forrest. So some minute stuff came back up in his bloodstream or his urine or wherever it was detected. And people were like, oh, okay, yeah, we're really done with this guy that kind of, puts a nail in the coffin. But at the same time, nobody was as pissed as they were when they found out that he was attempting to cheat AJ. You see what I mean? So I think people looked at Jarrell Miller a lot worse because of what he was attempting to do. Okay? So you have to keep that in mind. I'll say this. Jarrell Miller is not the only one that tested positive for PEDS. A lot of people have, bro. A lot of people either have tested positive for PED use or banned substance use. And really, they go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? They go hand in hand. Like, you have some of the biggest stars in the sport, tested positive for stuff. I mean, the biggest. Roy Jones Jr., Canelo Alvarez, Evander Holyfield. You know what I mean? These guys have tested positive for Fernando Vargas. Mike Tyson admitted that, yeah, he would have, if it wasn't for clean urine, he would have tested positive for cocaine and marijuana and all types of other stuff. Not necessarily PEDs, but again, they go hand in hand, people. So, understanding that Jarrell Miller, yes, he did some foul stuff. But I think because of the circumstances of who he was fighting, only made it worse. Only made it worse. I mean, I think that's what it is. And, people seen his demeanor and people seen the hatred he had for AJ, and it was genuine, and then they were like, okay, you tried to cheat him too. For one, people don't look at people that cheat like that highly anyway. But for two, you got a guy that's beloved from a whole country. He got a whole country behind him, okay? He's the new star of Great Britain. He's bigger than Lennox Lewis because Lennox Lewis wasn't that big in England. And we could tell the jealousy of Lennox had for AJ. AJ was that dude. And then you want to cheat him? That's why people look at Jarrell Miller and want him gone and want him banned forever. Well, I'll tell you this, guys. If you want Jarrell Miller banned forever, that means each and every person that fought or that has been tested positive that is still fighting should be banned too. Okay, that's it. You can't have it for one person and not for all. Okay, if you're gonna get pissed at and you want to just hold all the burden on Jarrell Miller like he's some anti-Jesus because of PED use, you have to do that for everybody that cheated. Okay, and so Frank Warren understand his position. He's tested negative for things. He's done his time. He's had his time out of the ring. He wasn't like other fighters that was allowed to fight in other countries and still tested positive. Okay, hello. No names needed, right? Just think about it. You know, he's done that. And I think what Frank Warren's doing, he's trying to make the win, if Fabio can pull it off, more legitimate. You know what I'm saying? So he's fighting a legitimate big name in the sport, and his name is Jarrell Miller. So it's better to clean up that name, to make that name legitimate. So when the win does happen, it is a legitimate win. You see what I mean? So advantage Frank, you guys tell me what you think of Frank Warren stating that Jarrell Miller has done his time. Leave the man alone. He's a clean fighter as of now. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.